few months ago, I did a video on Output's Arcade plugin. They sent me across Arcade to try out and see what I could come up with. If you've not seen Arcade before, it's basically a new spin on sample packs. From the plugin, you can download a kit which contains various samples, loops and one-shots, all of which can be triggered via MIDI, and you just jam away. The idea is to inspire a track or to fill in that missing element of a track that you already have. Now, most of these kits and sounds are aimed at pop, trap and kind of hip-hop production. However, they've just sent me over their new line of kits. It's called Warehouse and it's aimed at electronic dance music, and they want to see what I can come up with. You know what? Challenge accepted. Let's jump into it. Okay, so let's do this. I have got rid of everything within my normal template. I've just got one single MIDI channel within here. I'm going to drop Arcade onto this MIDI channel. I did do a video on this before, so I do know how to use Arcade. If you want to see that video, I'll put a link to it in the top right-hand corner of the screen. However, this is the first time I'm actually going to be trying out the new Warehouse line of kits. So I'm going to go into the line section within here. And I think somewhere near the bottom they said it was down here. Yeah, so we've got the new Warehouse line of kits. Raw, fall to the floor beats, syncopated synth stabs, and rhythmic electronic energy builds. There's a lot of keywords within there. Let's have a look at this and see what's within here. So this is the line. So we're in the Warehouse line now, and this is broken down into two types of kit. You have sampler kits and note kits. Sampler kits are basically kits that contain, well, as you might have guessed, a load of samples, one-shots or loops that you can kind of trigger with your MIDI keyboard. And then you have note kits, which are basically like instruments, so kind of rompler almost. And then you have the sample section, which contains all of the samples that are available within under Warehouse, and you can actually build your own kit from here. You can kind of drag and drop it onto there. I'm going to start off by having a look at the sampler kits within here and see what we got. Now, with any of these kits, you can actually preview what's actually inside them. Quite a heavy one, that one. Quite like the drums within that. That's quite nice. I think I am spotting certain sounds within here, but I can at least hear some sounds within there that might be useful when I'm making an idea up. I think there's some really cool elements in that kit. Let's go to that one. That was really cool. I like that one. So you can go ahead and download that kit quite easily, and then it's stored in your collection to then play. So I can now go ahead and play any of those sounds from the keys within the plugin here, or I can use my MIDI keyboard. It's a really nice kind of drum loop that. I'm going to try playing some of these together. I do like some of that percussion. I'm not sure I'm sold on that kick. Some nice controls in there for kind of adding some effects to it. I think I might still do this externally if I was putting effects on it, but they're certainly interesting to kind of play around with and see what you can come up with. You've also got these kind of modifier keys here as well that kind of do different things. So the white keys on your keyboard will play the samples, and then the black keys will play these kind of modifiers almost. Maybe you could use that for some interesting fills and stuff. Actually, let's try some of the melodic stuff in here as well. That's quite interesting, actually. In fact, let's get the drums out of here first. I want to see if I can get those drums going in here. Yeah, I don't like that kick so much. I might use another one from another kit. Let's have a look at the percussion instead. Yeah, I really like that. That's nice. I'll freeze out that percussion first. So I've got that percussion on its own now. Now I'll loop that up. So I think I'm going to record that in straight over the top of this. I'm going to use capture to get that. That works. I think I'm just going to tidy that up a little bit. I don't kind of like how much resonance there is on that low pass, so I'm actually going and tweak it, see if I can figure that out. So each of the macros within here are mapped to something different. So the low pass within here, for example, is mapped to the filter frequency and the resonance. In fact, I might even take that resonance down. Going to EQ that a little bit. I'm going to get a kick in there now, so let's get another instance of arcade in here. I want to find a nice kick within here somewhere. I think this one's probably got the nicest kick. I'm going to use this one. Yeah, I'm going to use the kick and the clap from within here. I really do need to label all this stuff. This is the synth, this is the hats, then we got the kick and the clap here. In fact, it really should have the kick and clap on separate lanes. As the kick plays back there, it does seem like the sample is almost fluctuating a little bit, so I'm actually just going to loop it over that one kick. That's better. I think I'll go ahead and freeze and flatten that kick and clap. Going to group up all my drums. I think I'll also sidechain that synth to the kick. Let's get another instance of arcade in there. And actually I found a vocal sample somewhere within there that was really quite nice. Quite like that vocal within there. That's quite interesting.
Great. Naked.
Might try that.
Naked. Great. Naked. Great. Naked. Great.
That might be interesting. Let's get that in there.
Naked. Great. Naked. Great. Naked. Great.
A little bit of a tweak on the delay there. Right, let's get a bass in there. I'm going to load up arcade, and this time I want to go for one of the note kits. So again, I'm going to jump into warehouse and into the note kits. I'm going to choose a nice bass within here. Sounds like quite a nice little bass. Let's try this one. Now, if I go to arcade that's actually doing my synth, you can actually see that's set to A sharp, and that's locked in there. So every other arcade instance after that will then be set to A sharp. So we're pretty much working in A sharp, and I want to do that with my bass as well. To make sure I do that, I'm going to use the MIDI effect within Ableton, the scale MIDI effect, and drop the minor one on there, and make sure it's set to A sharp. I'm just going to have a bit of a jam away and see what I can come up with. My timing is terrible there, but I think I've got something there. I'm going to go ahead and start editing that. Again, let's lock this to the A sharp scale, A sharp minor scale, sorry. Definitely think I've got something going on there. I'm not sure about that synth, but I'm going to tweak that bass and see if I can get a different kind of sound out of that bass. Just roll a little bit of that top end off. I'm going to sidechain that bass of the kick as well. You know what? I think I'm going to replace that synth with something else. I'm going to go back into Arcade and see what other kits we've got. The synth's really nice in that. I'm going to try that one. As you can see, it's already locked it into A sharp minor, so it's already transposed all the samples within this kit. Got this really kind of cool bass sample here. Just want to use those first two notes within there. Going to capture that out. Make sure my timing is correct, which it probably isn't. Just going to EQ that quickly. Might not get that going on every single one, actually. I want to EQ those hats as well, get rid of a bit of that bottom end from there. And a bit of transient master as well. I want to get rid of, just tweak that sustain on there a bit. I think let's just get one more Arcade in there just to see. I want to try out some of these other instruments, some of these other note kits. Let's try this one. I don't know if there's going to be any use, but just have a look. I think just that one little stab there kind of works nicely. Actually, that's too much of that. Let's get rid of that there. I really want to beef those kind of hats up a bit. I'm going to add one more layer in there and see if I can get some more hats out of Arcade. Going to load this kit in again, I think. You know what, I want to try a different bass as well, because we've got that bass in there and I can easily just swap that bass instrument out for a different instrument within here. So I've duplicated that. I'm going to go back to lines and see what other basses we've got within here. Now that's quite nice, a nice deep bass. That's going down a little bit too low. You know what? That's actually not too bad. Actually, all stripped back like that. Just having the bass, the drums, and the vocal. Maybe I was overcomplicating it with all those different synths. I just wanted to kind of try them and see what they were like. I like those macro controls, especially on that vocal. It works quite well. Adds a bit of variation within there. I have to say, I'm really liking some of these warehouse kits. There are definitely some samples in there that can spark inspiration. I especially like the note kits, the fact that you can obviously play those with your MIDI keyboard and come up with your own melodies. I'm not quite sure if I'm totally sold on the whole sample kits thing yet, especially not the drums with inside it. But I do like the vocals and the synth players and things like that, and the fact that they kind of snap to the same key, and you can keep a key for your project, and every time you open up Arcade in that project, it will keep that key, and you can just, you know, keep the flow going and just keep auditioning different sounds that may or may not work. As I say, I'm not kind of keen on the drum aspect of the kits yet, because you're just literally triggering drum loops, and if you don't get it quite in time, then it just falls completely out of loop. What I'd really love to see is almost it's being split off into another type of kit. So you have sample kits, which have your melodics and your vocals and things like that. You then have note kits, which have all your instruments, and then maybe drum kits as well, which actually have patterns that you can edit. So rather than actually just working with drum loops, you're actually working with patterns that you can edit, and then you can kind of change them. If you want to strip back a drum pattern, for example, you can just edit the pattern rather than having to kind of chop up a sample or do different things with it. But yeah, I can definitely see the potential with the Warehouse series of kits, and I'm looking forward to more being added as they go along. As I say, this is the first kind of outing that Arcade have done for electronic, fall to the floor kind of dance music, and as a first foray into it, I think they've done a really good job. There's some really great sounds in it. I can definitely see the potential in it, and I think, you know, it's well worth checking out. If you're interested in looking at, you know, this way of working, especially with Arcade, then definitely try it out. You can go to the Output website and try it out on there. I'll put a link in the description to try that out. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what Arcade do with this Warehouse series of kits, and what they're going to bring out next.